Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. We're glad you're here, and we appreciate all of you being here. Good morning.
Good morning.
As an ongoing part of our program for governmental and legislative issues, we have scheduled, of course, our representatives in the General Assembly, our senator and our representatives, and then occasionally we will have the mayors of the localities in this county prepared. So this morning we are honored and pleased to have the Dyersburg Mayor John Holden to present his state of the city. And I'm here to back him up now. If he doesn't tell the truth, I'll have the microphone again, Mother, before it's over, okay? And you're sitting on the front row, so he will tell the truth, right? We know him. It's an honor and pleasure to work with Mayor John Holden. We appreciate him being here this morning, Mayor Holden.
Man, you gotta love Bob Kirk, right? 47 years as alderman, you can say what you want to, right? Absolutely. Term limits, right, Bob? Term limits. 50 years. One more term, right? Where is Carmen at? Right here. Cool. All right, Carmen's got my clicker, so we're good. Hey, thank you for showing up this morning. Thanks for the interest in the city of Dyersburg. I want to introduce my mother, too, Patsy Holden on the front row. Thank you, Mom. Welcome. I've got a PowerPoint presentation. I did this last year. I'm going to go through some things that we did last year, some things going forward for this year, update on different projects that are ongoing. Let me say this is not about me. It's about the board. It's about the city. It's about the folks that work for the city, the associates we have, and the good job that they do. I just happen to be the mayor and take direction from the alderman board and the department heads and folks like that. And it's just an honor and a privilege for me to do that. So I want to thank all those folks for what they do for the city. There's a bunch over here this morning as well. So, everybody remember that last week? I took that picture, that Sunday night, I took that picture about 9 o'clock in front of AutoZone looking up towards the Lannom Center. And of course, everybody knows what we went through last week. And I put it on there because the department heads and the city workers and everybody came together and worked so hard to get the streets cleared and to do what we could do with that event because of the ice that came for 8 or 9 hours of snow on top of that. And the schools were out last week. We were closed for a couple of days. But really, I just wanted to show that, to let you know the severity of that situation, and to thank the folks that worked so hard to get our streets clean and provide the services to our folks. So I just wanted to say that to the city associates. Mission statement of the city of Dyersburg: to provide and maintain essential services that meet the collective basic needs of the citizens of Dyersburg, and to identify and pursue opportunities for a better quality of life. We think that's what we're supposed to do, to make our community better. The aesthetics of our community could be progressive. We continue to do that every day, try to do that. Got some slides in here about the financial status of some of our funds. These are standalone funds. They're not supported by any taxpayer dollars. They have to be positive based on the services and the charges and the expenses. I'm going to look back the past 10 years, the past 4 years, the total net assets continue to grow. The gas fund continues to grow, the total net assets, and the change in assets have been positive in the past 4 years. That wasn't always the case going back to the early 2000s and mid-2000s, but we continue to be successful on gas funds. They're called enterprise funds, they have to stand on their own. Next one. Water and sewer fund continues to grow with net assets over the past 4 years. Year ending 2013, change in net assets, $600,000 plus. Solid waste fund continues to grow with total net assets as well for the past 4 years. Increase in fund balances, net assets since fiscal year 2006. I took office actually in January 2007. Hard to believe it's been 7 years, 8 years. But anyway, continue to make strides in those enterprise funds as far as the increase in the fund balances that we maintain. Property tax collections for 2013, $6.9 million. Gives you a past look back to 2009. Most of our revenues are derived from property tax collections. We use that for a number of items, the city and schools and things like that. Business tax collections increased as well in 2013, but from 3.5% from 2012. We've seen a positive trend in business tax collections as well. Unemployment rate, we monitor this. This is last year's unemployment rate. It's just a moving target based on what goes on in the economy, both locally and nationally. As high as 12.4% in January to as low as, I guess, 10.7% in November, 10.3% in December. We track that on a monthly basis and keep up with that. Obviously, as the city and the chamber and the county and all of us that work to develop and attract business and industry, if we're successful with that, obviously that number will drop, but that's certainly important to us that we provide jobs to folks in our community. Different technology the city utilizes. Code Red emergency notification system. Probably many of you have gotten those calls. It's handled from the EOC. Mark Grant does that. We can notify every resident in Dyersburg that has a home phone or have signed up their cell phone in about 15 minutes. In case of an emergency or something would happen. We've used it when the Beckhart building caught on fire. We used it when the fire at Dyersburg Fabrics. We used it when there was a fire in a residential neighborhood. We used it obviously during the weather events that occurred last week and previous months, and it's just a good technology we utilize to notify our citizens of what's going on. Can y'all see? Okay. 311 information service, something we started about 3 or 4 years ago to provide information to folks that can call in for non-emergency requests. It's been very successful. It would eliminate you from calling City Hall and being transferred to Public Works, and being transferred to this department, being transferred somewhere else. And we take that call at our EOC or our 911 center, disseminate that information out to the appropriate department, and then we take care of that situation. So it's been very successful service that the board implemented 2 years ago in the direction of Mark Grant as well. Storm shelter database is kind of administered by the fire department. In the event of an emergency, we have the ability, if you would like, we can come out. If you have a storm shelter, we can GPS, put the GPS coordinates on your storm shelter. If there was an event, tornado or whatever, obviously the landscape would be changed. But if we've got those GPS coordinates that we save, we could come and try to locate you and give you assistance. So if you haven't signed up for that, or you don't do that, please contact our fire department, because we can assist you at times of emergency if we need to. City of Dyersburg website, have a lot of information on there. Facebook, we use Facebook a lot. I'll talk about that a little bit later. YouTube, if you get bored, we watch our board meetings on YouTube. Twitter as well. So there's our website, a lot of information on there about minutes of meetings, and pay taxes online, utility bills, property taxes, quick links to all our departments, what they do, their hours, services they provide, and then just information here in the middle about what we do as a city. Facebook, started this probably 2.5 years ago. We've got over 4,000 friends now, I guess. It's been an invaluable tool for us. Just amazing how many people are on Facebook. Last week during all the weather events, Mark Grant did a good job of updating that, passing weather alerts along, and other folks as well. We'll have as many as, we've seen as many as 25,000 views in a short period of time. We had an incident that occurred sometime back. We had to get some information out pretty quick, and within an hour of posting that, I think there were about 20,000 views already there. It's just incredible to me how many people look at this, honestly. And we use it as a tool to communicate with citizens and let folks know what's going on. So it's been pretty important for us. These are statistics from the Dyersburg Police Department for last year. I apologize, I don't know if you can see those too good. Keep up with all the events that occurred, positive and negative, obviously. But of course, the bottom, just some of the ones I want to bring your attention to. Well, the top total calls, total reports, 9,000. That's 9,309 total reports. Total adult arrests, 2,027. That's down here. Total juvenile arrests, 307. I'm just going to go in order here. Juvenile citations, 572. Courtesy tickets issued, that's 2,598. Total calls for service, 23,219. That's the fifth from the bottom. Over 23,000 calls for service. Fourth from the bottom, 23,000 calls for service last year. Traffic crashes, 726. And then involved property, 255, and with injury, 120. So, police department does a great job, very proactive, and they're very busy. So, see their stats for last year as well. VOC, our 911 center, Ready Dyersburg campaign we kicked off in January 2013 to be prepared in case of a disaster. I guess the takeaway from here is this: we're in January 2013, conducted a needs assessment for critical departments that play a big role in disaster response, developing disaster preparedness goals for each critical response department, then identify the top 5 goals for the city. We continue to do that, continue to meet. 911, the DOC is really involved with this. Mailed out a mailer about 2 or 3 weeks ago, Ready Dyersburg mailer. Y'all get that? City residents, some of y'all get that? Hope everybody got it, but just give you some ideas what to do in case of an emergency and how you can help yourselves and what we can do for you. The 911 center, they will answer about 120,000 calls a year. And those ladies and the folks over there do, and men do a great job at the 911 center in responding to customer requests. Fire department program, I just want to include this because we've had some deaths in neighboring counties recently of some kids that perished in fires. There were no smoke detectors in the house. We've got a program, Dyersburg Fire Department, we provide free smoke detectors. Call this number. We won't have to come out and install them for you. That's for city and county both. We'll do that city and county both. During the month of January, we installed 202 free smoke alarms. The state of Tennessee helps us. Some local merchants here help us. But obviously, we'll do all we can to make people safe. And if you have a need for that, or an elderly parent, or somebody's in need of that, please call us. Let us help you. Okay. Last year, many of you were here, and I talked about what we deal with that is not pleasant in our community. I don't know how many people see this in the neighborhoods, but we tend to deal with this on a too regular of a basis. Blight and things like this, and it really concerned me last year. I talked a lot about it, had a lot of slides, and tried to take a proactive stance last year in cleaning up our community. And I think we've made strides. We've got a way to go, quite honestly. We've made some significant strides and doing some things. I got some photos I'll show you. I'd like to kind of recap the next 4 or 5 pictures of what we see in the codes department. Kevin Johnson, is Kevin here? Yeah, it's Kevin. He deals with that. Thomas Muller's going to be here. Go ahead, Paul. Pretty nice looking home. All right. Somebody should live with it. All right. Just some conditional houses. Certainly not picking on anybody in our community. Try very hard to hide addresses and things like that. This is what we deal with in conditional homes that we deal with blight and unsafe structures. And we have an obligation to keep our citizens safe. Folks don't always view it as that. We've got some health and safety life issues that we try to maintain. It's actually that's the kitchen or the living room area in the back of the house. It's all in, and a lady lives there, or lived there. How many people know what that picture is? What's that? There's Jimmy D's. There's Jimmy D's. Cortland Square, we've talked about that for a long time. It was a business. Obviously, people have different businesses, and certainly a lot of folks that have business, but it became a blight on our community with some things going on there that required attention from the police department and things like that. And the flood of 2010 kind of rendered that uninhabitable. Went through a lot of processes with the state and federal government, grant applications to do some different things. Long story short, it was bought at a tax sale. I know Jimmy will mind me saying this. Jimmy Dees purchased that at a tax sale. Became the proud owner of this property in January. His plans, honestly, are to clean it up, tear it down and clean it up. Man, we appreciate it, too. We really do. He's also allowed our fire department to do training out there. We've done training with our fire department and volunteer agencies around our county as well, to burn the buildings and have some live exercises. Many of you have probably seen that and been in the paper, I believe. Also, our SRT team with the police department has done some live training there. They get to go blow up doors and have fun. So the process being torn down. Mr. Stevens tearing those down. But these are just some totals of last year for codes enforcement property payments. I mentioned that last year I was really concerned about the blight in our community and what we could do as a city and a board to address that. We took some proactive measures to really enforce some ordinances we have on the book. We sent out 751 certified violation notices, 26 city court citations, did 22 substandard housing inspections. We condemned 29 properties. We tore down 35 properties. We had 251 complaints. We probably have condemned some other properties this year so far. At least 3 or 4 properties we have done already this year. So we want to continue to make every effort and strive that we can to clean up our community. Just some bullet points of stuff that occurred last year in the city. Some things that the city of Dyersburg has been involved in, the board, different things that have gone on in our community. Dyersburg Regional Airport, as you all know, we now operate the airport. Tommy's here. I saw Tommy runs the airport manager. Received no violation inspection from the state TDOT Aeronautics Division. Dyersburg wastewater plant inspection by TDEC. Noted no major deficiencies. Entered into agreement with Dyersburg Regional Medical Center for emergency, non-emergency dispatch of patients to provide better service to their patients that come from nursing homes or doctors, dialysis treatment or whatever. And that's been very successful as well, I think, for them and for us also. We outsourced our street sweeping service to a company out of Nashville. We did that out. They've been doing that for a while. We can see improvements in our streets. Dyersburg came before us with some plans to improve our school systems, our schools, our physical plants. Dyersburg High School's been there for a long time. It's still a good facility. We just needed some work, so we issued some bonds. The board voted to do that, refinance the bonds, actually get a cheaper rate and save some money in the long run. The general obligation bonds, the amount not to exceed $12.5 million. We're currently going through a lot of renovation at the schools. They did a lot of it this past summer. So it's going at the high school now. We did this with no tax increase as well. We adopted the 2013-2014 budget on time, June 28th. Our fiscal year starts July 1. Again, we adopted that budget with no tax increase. Operation Healthy Delta, Bob Jones was involved with that. Received a grant from the government to provide free medical services to folks in our community. We did that August 5th to the 13th last year. Dyersburg Mall was gracious, and the owners were very gracious to allow us to use the facilities there for free. And we assisted a lot of people in our community. That was a big success. Free medical services, dental, vision, other minor medical services. All these alphabets. TDOT, TEMA, TDEC, Department of Transportation, Tennessee Emergency Management, Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation audit us on various projects that we do. And no project that we're actively involved in have they identified any findings or no findings of non-compliance. It's really important to us because they really monitor us and check on us and make sure that we're spending their money properly. Scott Hall, Bob Jones, Steve Anderson, Greg Williams, all those folks play a role in that, make sure the paperwork's right, it's turned in on time. And I really appreciate those guys for their attention to detail and making sure we have clean audits. That's a big deal for us. We really appreciate that. Greg Williams, back in 2008, met Greg as a purchasing agent, also did some natural gas purchases. Kind of changed the way we bought gas back then. It was regular community gas. Consortium of municipalities allow us to purchase natural gas using tax-free bonds. We saw an opportunity to save money not only for us, but for our consumers as well. And today, the total savings, which we pass on to our customers, is in excess of $2 million. And that has allowed us to have some of the lowest gas rates in our region. Grant updates, you know, we've been working on many grants. The city of Dyersburg has been pretty successful in obtaining several grants. Just want to give an update on those. I won't mention one of them. These are the projects we've received grants for, the amount of the grant, just the project stage. Scott Ball is involved in virtually all of these, as well as Steve, as well as Greg, as well as Bob Jones, as well as whatever department head or department that may be involved in this as well. So just kind of a summation of where we are with some different things. So the biggest one is the safe rooms that are almost complete, 9% complete downtown safe room, 95% complete for the high school safe room. Those are shelters for events that may occur. They're both built to withstand F5 tornadoes, winds in excess of 250 miles an hour, but we never have to use them. But they're there if we need them. We can also use them for other events as well. So I think they look good. The high school safe room was built with the brick, the facade of the high school itself, and the downtown safe room. I think it'll be a plus for me. Other different things, flood recovery. The flood that occurred in 2010, we were able to get a CDBG grant, Community Development Block Grant, because of that event. That grant was awarded probably sometime last year. The design has been complete. We're going to replace the pump stations in South Dyersburg. Mike, what's the pump station cost? Mike, off here? $200,000. Okay. So, instead of the city and taxpayers, there's 3 out there. 3 pump stations out there. So we can get those replaced at no cost. No cost to the citizens. And they're in bad need of being replaced. In South Dyersburg, they have their own water district, but we have a sewer. So it's an opportunity for us to do some work that needs to be done. It's unfortunate the reason we got the grant, but it is what it is, so we're able to do that. Along with that, we're going to be able to make some, hopefully, aesthetic improvements in Southtown with some of the ditches there and things like that. We'll talk about that later. We're going to do that. And, along with what Jimmy's doing with Cortland Square and demolishing that and cleaning that up, and he's making additional his business as well. And we've done some things out there to be proactive in tearing some buildings down. We're still working on 1 or 2. But this, along with Cortland Square demolition, along with welcome signs that we received, I think we're going to notice a big improvement in South Main and then interest to Dyersburg. The joke was, we bring folks to Dyersburg, we don't think Southtown will go around it. We want all our communities to look good and show well, and folks are doing things out there to take pride in that area, and I applaud them for doing that. So we want to do our part as well. Just different things the city's involved in, along with the chamber, just to promote things that occur in our community, that bring folks into our community, that spend money here, that, for the merchants, for the restaurants, for the gas stations, for whatever. We try to do everything we can to be proactive and have events in our community. There's just 3 or 4 slides of stuff that we're involved in. Softball travel tournaments, everybody knows travel ball is a big thing. Baseball, they do it too, baseball complex. basketball tournament at the high school. Had that again this past December. The folks that come from Illinois that stay in our community for about a day and a half and ride and raise money for St. Jude. They just kind of happened a chance encounter with Mike Bowles actually calling me about being the sheriff of Peoria, Illinois, that kind of headed us up. This is a group of folks about Harley Davidsons that raise money for St. Jude. And they come to our community, they stay here. We have the gifts for them here at the Lannom Center. Spend money here. Great people, raise a lot of money for St. Jude. I don't know the exact amount they raised last year. I think they delivered a check for like $600,000. Might have been $1 million. This is a lot of money they raised for St. Jude. They've been here 3 or 4 years now. Youth waterfowl hunt, we've had this about 5 or 6 years. The sports shooting clays program through the high schools across the state of Tennessee. Tom Rice, a gentleman that is the father of this man that was killed in a car accident coming back from college. They established the Davis P. Rice Youth Waterfowl Hunt, bring kids into areas to hunt. We were successful in locating them in Dyersburg. We had this back in February. We brought the kids that came and hunt, and all the folks that are landowners or own duck blinds participated in about, much like the duck blinds that Kiwanis does, and very successful organizations for organizations, community as well. So something else we try to do to promote our community. Duck Fest, the chamber got involved with that. Like Holden and Cheney got involved with that as well. They have drawings here for duck blinds that the state maintains, and had this event the first Saturday in August. There's a lot of people in our fairgrounds. The fair allows us to use their facilities to do that. Must be some duck numbers on the board. But just another event to bring folks in. I took this straight from the chamber banquet last month. Economic development highlights for 2013 for Dyersburg. We work very closely with the chamber and the county and other leadership folks to try to do what we can do to run our community. You can just read some of this. Obviously, Dot Foods announcement in August of last year. Tim Ward is here. Where's Tim? Tim's right there. He's the general manager for Dot Foods. And welcome to Dyersburg. Again, glad you're here. Cut ribbons on 38 New York expanded small businesses last year. Launched the Gearheads program to encourage middle school students to study more about science, technology, engineering, math, and give them the skills and training early as they go through the school system. $25 million in capital investment, 483 new manufacturing industrial jobs, agribusiness economy generated estimated $168 million, at $168 million economic impact on the local economy, 2,000 jobs in the healthcare sector, which Dyersburg State Technology Center, employ the folks and train many more for jobs across this area. Retail sector, we had over $11.6 million in sales taxes in 2013. In 24 of the top 100 national retail chains represented in Dyersburg and Dyer County. Jim Tracy, one of the family owners of Dot Foods, groundbreaking in August, was quoted as saying we're tough to locate here because of the people in Dyer County. Article in Memphis Business Journal last month, 2013, good year for Dyersburg. A lot of that centers around Dot Foods. Any positive news that we can get out, whatever it may be, bodes well for us and our recruitment. So I just threw this in here because it's Memphis Business Journal. A lot of people read that, a lot of people get that, and they talk about Dot Foods and the results of that development. I asked him to send me a slide last year. A lot of people said, why Dyersburg? Tim's going to come and speak to the Rotary Club and Kiwanis Club. So why Dyersburg? Why Dot Foods choose Dyersburg? I mean, the warehouse space will be planned out for 5 years. The business model said it would be not ready to sub Dyersburg. They considered other cities, Sykeston, Blytheville, Dyersburg. They had Dyersburg was most like other towns that they're in. And lastly, pretty important to a lot of us around here, we felt we could trust the city and county leaders in Dyersburg. And that's not only me or Mayor Hill or any other person, that's all of us. That's all of us that they talk to, that they come in our community with, that they spoke with, that folks didn't even know they were here. But we do all we can to attract business and be honest and upfront with the folks that we have in college. Just 2 days ago, we all saw that in the paper. Dyersburg was ranked number 10 among the micropolitans in the United States out of 576 micropolitan areas. Dyersburg placed 10th out of those. 2013, based on number of industries it was attracted, as well as expansions undertaken by industries that already called Dyersburg home. The ranking was the highest Dyersburg has ever received. And the annual listing is also the highest ranking for any Tennessee micropolitan. Again, it talks about Dye Foods in August 2013, the Dodge, but also a big part of that is the expansions of existing facilities and industries. We want to attract new folks all the time. We also want to take care of the people that are here. The existing industries that are here, the CPO record here, the Armco, the other factories that are here that mean so much to us, that employ our folks. We will make sure they're successful too. And we had several factories here that undertook expansions, capital improvement projects, and there's going to be some this year as well. That we're NSK, I think, employs over 600 people now, Mordine, Caterpillar, Hillshire Brands, and Sarglow, and Goldbar, all undertook expansions in 2013. So we want to continue to make them successful and do the things that we can do as a city, as a county, as a chamber to make all these things successful. That's very important to us. I'm sorry, it's kind of fuzzy on this. There's a list of the top micropolitan that was published by Site Selection Magazine. Dyersburg, number 7. But I mean, this is, again, across the United States. Very proud of it. Very proud of the industry that continues to grow. Very proud of the folks that you locate here. I got 2 slides left. I just love this picture. I showed it last year. I just love that picture before we do everything. We've got a river trail down there. We've got a building that we're still working on. We've got some opportunities with this going forward to be a destination for these type of activities. That picture was taken from the South Main Bridge looking west, I guess. That's like that picture. There's been some other publications as well. Then the last picture, this is the last slide I mentioned. I took that picture Monday night. I was down in Coastal River Monday night, and I just, Mississippi River Bridge means a lot to us because of our location, interstate access, the ability for folks to get their product out to a lot of areas from Dyersburg, our central location. And I took that, it turned out. So that's the last slide I got. Anybody have any questions about anything? Anything at all? Be more than happy to try to answer any questions. I want to keep it brief so everybody's busy. Anybody? Hey, well, thank you for allowing me to do what I love doing, and the board as well, and let's make our community better. If we can ever help you in city government, city hall, please call on us. Several aldermen are here. I appreciate their service, department heads and employees as well. Thank you.